What is going on, guys? So far, the 2020 NFL season has been brutal on the injury front. Plenty of big-name players have been forced to spend a significant amount of time in the trainer's room. And while some of these players have either already returned or will be returning soon, others have already been declared out for the season. So which injuries have hit their clubs the hardest? Here's a look at the 10 most devastating injuries in the 2020 season so far. Oh, and we should mention that we're only looking at players who suffered injuries in week 1 onward, not players who were injured before the start of the regular season. Number 10, Nick Chubb. The Cleveland Browns superstar running back suffered a knee injury during the team's thrilling Week 4 road win against the Dallas Cowboys. The Browns may have escaped with the win, but Chubb's loss is quite the blow to a team vying for its first playoff berth since 2002. Chubb nearly won the rushing title in 2019, and he had 292 total rushing yards and 4 touchdowns through Cleveland's first 3 games of 2020, despite sharing the reps with Kareem Hunt. New head coach Kevin Stefanski has devised a virtually unstoppable rushing game, using multiple backs. Without Chubb, the Browns need Hunt and Ernest Johnson to keep pounding the rock. Otherwise, their early playoff hopes could unravel quickly. Number 9, Austin Ekeler. The Los Angeles Chargers lost their do-it-all running back during their Week 4 road loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ekeler suffered a hamstring injury and hyperextended his knee, which will reportedly keep him out for 4 to 6 weeks. The Chargers offense needs Ekeler, who left the game in the first quarter after building up a 24-7 second quarter lead. They were outscored 31-7 the rest of the way. Joshua Kelly and Justin Jackson on decent replacements, but this offense clearly isn't as potent without Ekeler and the backfield. His absence is great concern in what already feels like another lost season for the Chargers. Number 8, Brandon Scherff. The Washington football team was dealt a big blow when 3-time Pro Bowl offensive guard Brandon Scherff suffered a knee injury during the club's Week 2 road contest against the Cardinals. The injury was later reported to be an MCL sprain that would keep him out for at least 3 weeks, and the team's pass protection fell apart miserably without Scherff, who's arguably their most valuable player on offense. Dwayne Haskins was sacked 4 times against Arizona, and 3 times in both Week 3 and 4. Obviously, this increase in sacks can be attributed to Scherff's absence. Head coach Ron Rivera decided to bench Haskins after Week 4, following 3 straight losses. But it didn't get much better from there, as Kyle Allen and Alex Smith were sacked a combined 8 times by the Rams in Week 5, with Aaron Donald accounting for 4 of them. I know Donald's a beast and all, but there's no way Scherff is letting him take down his quarterback 4 times in a single game if he's in the lineup. No way. It's not happening. Number 7, Cortland Sutton. The Chargers aren't the only AFC West team that is enduring another lost year. The Denver Broncos were supposed to be much better this year following a strong draft and major upgrades on both sides of the ball. But nope, Von Miller was lost for the entire 2020 season when he underwent surgery to repair a tendon in his ankle. The injury bug got worse in Week 2 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, with star receiver Cortland Sutton suffering a season-ending ACL tear. Quarterback Drew Lock was also lost for several weeks with a shoulder injury. John Elway spent all that money and draft capital trying to rebuild the offense around Lock, but injuries have thrown a wrench into that plan. Sutton and rookie sensation Jerry Jeudy were supposed to form a dynamic 1-2 receiving duo, but that will have to wait until 2021 now. What a shame, as Sutton was looking to build off a career 2019 season. The Denver offense simply isn't the same without number 14. Number 6, Michael Thomas. The New Orleans Saints have more than enough offensive firepower, and they should still be in the running for Super Bowl 55 once November rolls around. Still, it's impossible to deny that they really needed Michael Thomas during the first quarter of the season. The reigning Offensive Player of the Year suffered a high ankle sprain in this team's Week 1 home win against the Bucs. The following week, the Saints' passing offense was unable to get into any sort of rhythm during a road loss to the Raiders, and Thomas' absence was a key reason why. The Saints then lost a thrilling Sunday nighter at home to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers by a final score of 37-30. Once again, Thomas' absence loomed large, as no Saints receiver or tight end caught more than 4 passes in the game. That loss put a major dent in the Saints' chances of earning the top seed in the NFC, especially now that the Packers own the head-to-head tiebreaker against them. The Saints did manage to bounce back with a win against the Lions in Week 4, and Thomas was expected to return to the lineup in Week 5. But after an issue at practice with a teammate, the team decided to suspend him after their game against the Chargers, delaying the star wideout's comeback for at least 1 more week. Number 5, Anthony Barr. Remember when Mike Zimmer's defense used to be good? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Through the first 5 weeks of the season, the Vikings ranked in the bottom third of the league in points allowed, yards allowed, passing yards allowed, and rushing yards allowed. I probably don't have to tell you this, but that's really bad. While losing superstar linebacker Anthony Barr for the season with a torn pectoral muscle is a key reason why this defense lost its swagger. The four-time Pro Bowler suffered the injury in Minnie's Week 2 road loss to the Indianapolis Colts, but in the defense in a major bind. Without Barr, the Vikings proceeded to give up 31 points to the Titans, 23 to the Texans, and 27 to the Seahawks over the next 3 weeks. The good news is that they were able to come away with a victory in one of those games, outscoring the Texans 31-23 in Week 4. But the bad news is they were still 1-4 through their first 5 games, and Barr won't be busting through those doors to come save their defense and their season anytime soon. Number 4, Leighton Vander. Yikes! How atrocious is that Dallas Cowboys defense? Despite averaging over 31 points through their first 4 games, the Cowboys somehow managed to win just one of those contests during a 1-3 start. Such is life when your defense allows 36.5 points per game through the first quarter of the season, including 38 points or more on 3 straight outings. Clearly, new defensive coordinator Mike Nolan is unable to run an efficient unit without his star linebacker, Leighton Vander. LVE suffered a fractured collarbone in the Cowboys' Week 1 road loss to the Los Angeles Rams, and he was ruled out for 6 to 8 weeks. The Cowboys won't make the playoffs if their defense remains this historically bad, and it's hard to see how they'll get back on track without Vander, one of the game's top linebackers. While Dallas might have one of the most high-powered offenses in the league, you can't expect them to score 40 points every game, but without LVE in the lineup, that might be what it takes if they want to stay atop the NFC East. Number 3, Saquon Barkley. The New York Giants will be vying for a top 3 pick the rest of the way, but it really didn't have to be like this. The Giants hope to be better this year with a brand new coaching staff led by Joe Judge. But those hopes went to bed once Pro Bowl running back Saquon Barkley suffered an ACL tear in Week 2 against the Chicago Bears that abruptly ended his season. Daniel Jones hasn't been able to command the offense without his go-to guy. The rushing game has predictably been a no factor without Barkley, and instead of possibly competing in a wide-open NFC East, the Giants find themselves in a familiar spot, at the bottom of the standings. Losing Barkley is just downright brutal for a team that had such high hopes for a turnaround. And now looks like that long-awaited turnaround will have to wait at least one more season. Number 2, Nick Bosa. The 49ers had 2 monstrous strengths that got them to Super Bowl 54 last year: a ferocious pass rush and a dynamite ground and pound offense. But the pass rush has been in the early stages of 2020, and that can obviously be attributed to the loss of 2019 Defensive Rookie of the Year Nick Bosa, who suffered a season-ending ACL tear against the Jets in Week 2. Losing Bosa has led to several problems on that stacked front 7 that suddenly can't pressure the quarterback with any sort of consistency. San Fran only had 10 sacks through their first 5 games, putting them on pace for just 32 sacks on the season. That's well below the 48 sacks they racked up a year ago, when they finished first in the NFC and came within 1/4 of winning it all. And what makes the Bosa injury all the more devastating is the fact that he's not the only pass rusher they lost from last year's elite unit. The team also traded away DeForest Buckner to the Indianapolis Colts prior to the 2020 draft, and Solomon Thomas was lost for the season just a few plays after Bosa with a torn ACL of his own. No Buckner, no Bosa, no Solomon Thomas. Suddenly the Niners' biggest strength from 2019 has become their biggest weakness in 2020, and that's reflected in their 2-3 record through 5 weeks. Number 1, Dak Prescott. How could we not put this at number 1? I don't care if you're a Cowboys fan or a hater. You've simply got to feel for Dak after this brutal injury. After failing to secure a long-term extension with Dallas this offseason, Prescott got off to a record-setting start to his 2020 campaign. His 1,690 passing yards through the first 4 games was an NFL record, as was his 3 straight 450-yard games from Week 2 through Week 4. But then during the third quarter of the Cowboys' Week 4 victory over the Giants, Dak was trying for a first down when he was taken down awkwardly and suffered a season-ending compound fracture and dislocation of his right ankle. The good news for the Cowboys is backup Andy Dalton was able to step in and secure the victory. But make no mistake about it, this offense is clearly not as potent without Dak under center. I already told you about how the Cowboys defense has been extra leaky without Leighton Vander, and how they might need to score 40 points a game to remain atop the NFC East. Well, it's going to be even harder for them to do that without their Pro Bowl quarterback. So good luck, Dallas. You're probably going to need it. And we're sending our best to Dak for a full recovery. You never want to see someone go down like that. So let's hope he comes out of this stronger than ever and ready to roll for the 2021 season. What do you think is the most devastating NFL injury of 2020 so far? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We are literally on everything, so go find us, go subscribe, go follow, go do all that. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes 1 click down below. And of course, subscribe to TPS. We post videos every day. Every day's a new video. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.